Hi, guys. I want to talk to you a little bit about your book club assignment for the week. Every time you work on your book club assignment, you should take out your packet, you should take out your character study paper, and you should take out your group discussion paper. You should have all three of those things out every time you are reading because as you're doing your reading, you will want to stop and write things down along the way, especially on these two pages, the discussion page and the character page. As you read things about your character or as you read things that you think you would want to talk about in our Friday discussion, you should pause your reading and write them down because it's better to do it then than to wait till the end and then you can't remember. This week's packet, you're reading chapters 54 through 83, which are pages 121 to 179. You have the page that always tells you the chapter numbers and the chapter titles. And then you have the vocabulary page that has some of the words from these pages that if you get to that word and if you come to a word you don't know, you can check here in this glossary to see if the word you're looking for is there. These are 3 close read questions. So these questions have to do with pages 148 to 56. So when you're reading these pages, you're definitely going to want to stop and answer these questions. It says, closely reread about Ruby's training with Mac and what happens afterward. Think about these questions in the space below, write ideas or draw pictures as you think. Be ready to share your answers. So in the space below each question is where you'll put your words or your pictures. And then the next page is the summarizer page. I showed this to you once already. This is what you will fill out when you finish the chapters. So I want you to write 2 or more sentences down here, just in your own words. What are the chapters mainly about? Okay, you need to give me a little bit of detail. You can't just say they were about Ruby. That's not enough information. You need to write 2 or more sentences that explain what those chapters were mainly about. The next page is the connector page. Don't worry about the top part. We're just going to fill in the bottom here. So this is where you think about some connections that you can make. So a text to self connection is a connection that you make between your own life and the book. So something happens to a character that reminds you of something that maybe has happened to you. You write the page number here, and then you explain. Like maybe you can make a connection between Ruby being moved from one circus to another. Maybe your family has moved before, and you want to write a connection about how you moved from one place to another and how it made you feel. That's just one example. Or maybe you might think of a text to text connection, which is where something you read in The One and Only Ivan makes you think of something that happened in another book that you read. And you can write down what the connection is between those 2 books. And the last type of connection is a text to world connection. So this is a connection that you make between the book we're reading and something in the world. Maybe you want to connect the animals in the story and how they live in a circus, and maybe make the connection that nowadays there's not too many circuses that happen anymore. Maybe that's because the animals were treated poorly or something like that. You could write a connection that you make between something in the world and the book. So I'd like you to make, we'll just start with one connection for this week. If you think of more than one, absolutely write them down. But when we have our discussion, I'm going to ask each person, I'm going to expect that each person has one connection on this page. So it could be one that's text to self, one that's text to text, or one that's text to world. And the last page in your packet is called the Word Wizard. And this is where you can put down words that you come to that maybe you don't know. This will be helpful because one of the rounds of our discussion is for asking our group about words we don't know. So this is a great one to make sure you have a couple words here. I'm going to ask that everybody write down 2 words. You can always do more than that, but you should at least have 2. I wrote down this word, which was on page 142. It's dignity. And in the sentence, I thought it meant carefully. But then I checked the glossary in the packet, and it was in there. And it says here, dignity is self-respect. The sentence from the book is, Ivan tries to move with dignity. So I wrote that dignity means self-respect. And then I also added the word pride because I think Ivan is trying to walk around with pride, to be being proud of himself and strong. Maybe I'll add the word strong here. And maybe after you do some thinking or you look the word up, maybe you can't find a definition, and then we could talk about that as a group. Okay? So you are responsible for finishing this entire packet and adding something to your character sheet. I am writing about Stella, and here's some of the things that I have written. I haven't added her picture quite yet. Some adjectives to describe Stella: her inside or her personality. She's kind, patient, wise, and caring. And the outside, or how she looks: she's large, she has a wounded foot, she has rough skin. How does my character express herself? By sharing stories and caring for others. And then what problems does my character have? She has a very hurt foot, which causes her a lot of pain. She is unhappy in captivity. She wants to protect Ruby. And my page is not done, as you can see, but my job is to add more to this every week as I'm reading, and you should be doing the same thing. This week, when we talk on Friday, I'll be asking everyone to share something from their character page. So I'll be adding around 5 at the bottom where we can share about our characters. Okay? So you will be having 2 assignments this week to work on your book club materials. If you need more time, please make sure you find more time in the week to get your stuff ready for Friday. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say on Friday.